In this lesson, we want to complete our web page by building out the footer and setting up our mapping area. So notice that we do have a class container. This is an important one to note because depending on what your design is calling for and how you want to create your footer, if you want your footer to be in line with the contents of your container, then you would keep that within that container section, or you could create another div here and give it a class container. So those would be in line as well. The other option is to add it in within this container, or you could do a container fluid if you want to go all the way across. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a separate div. I'm going to give it a class of container, and then so this is going to give me some more flexibility, and especially if I'm creating a website where I may or may not necessarily have that same container div here. That's another reason to create all of your footer, because this footer content could potentially be across all pages, whereas the one above might not need to be across. So this one here could be changed depending on what page the user's landing on. And that's the reason why I want to have this differentiation here between the sections. So let's create couple sections here. So maybe we can have one called section, and then within here we'll have div ID, and this is where we're going to place our Google map. So that's going to live within this element, and then just below that maybe we'll have something called footer. So this will be our web page footer, and then within here we can add in our footer content. So again, this is going to be going across the entire page. So I'm going to just create a div here to hold the contents of it, and maybe we can do our copyright and company name or something like that, or website. So now we've got all of our content here. We're all ready to go to add in our map. We refresh it, we've got our copyright and so on. So typically with the footer you might have a different color or so on. So let's add in a class and background, and we'll do primary. So maybe you want to have a blue background to your footer, so you can do it that way as well. So really easy to make these adjustments, or of course you can set your own classes within your CSS. So let's just call this footer. And I know this might be confusing here. We've got a tag footer and a class footer. So we're going to bring that into my CSS footer background, give it a height. And let's check this out now, so let's see how that looks. So now this looks more like a footer, and of course we could add in all of our content here and so on. We can also do things like we can center the text. So if you want the text centered, we could do that as well. And with Bootstrap 4, we also have the option to center our text depending on our screen size. So this is new again, but I think for this instance, we're just going to do text, and we're going to just specify XS. So basically this will center the text, doesn't matter what size screen we're on, so center the text that's within that footer section. And we could be more specific as well and bring that class over to the div if we want to. And that's the reason why I created that extra div, because just in case we want to do it that way, and in case we want to break apart our footer with some additional content as well. So now in the next lesson, I'm going to show you I can update this mapping component, and we're going to be utilizing the Google Maps API. So they do have some code here, and I'm going to show you what this code will do and how you can bring it into your web page, and how you can actually place a marker on the map in order to indicate wherever your business is located. So that's coming up in the next set of lessons.